Okay, everybody, back at it again. Tuesday and the elections, election night. Boy, oh boy. And see, it's just crazy how our country has become so divided in a divisive way. I mean, it's all planned. So the only thing that we can do is trust in God. I know there is a justice coming. And that judge I saw will be cleaning things up. Hopefully the stalking and harassing stuff, which is criminal activity, that was a result of the Patriot Act. Just saying, that's coming down. I know that for a fact. So, we got this. God is in control, and He's only going to let bad things happen for a while until God's people just say, look, I've had enough. So I'm pretty confident that Trump will be reelected. But if not, he's going to turn things around for us. Hi, Kim. I'm glad you got in. Hope you had got your dinner. So let's see. I'm going to just start. This is chapter 6 in Daniel. This starts with Darius. When we read in chapter 5, Darius was just coming in, and Daniel was 78 years old. And they took over the province of Babylon, all their areas. Daniel is still where he's at, but he's under Darius, still working. And he, in this chapter, is about 87 years old. So, that 9 years had passed, and he had been, doing things for the their kingdom and stuff like that. And this is a type of, getting out of captivity, them getting together again, but they're still kind of in captivity. But, after living so long under the Babylonian captivity and being restricted and things like that, it just takes a while to people get back to, their nationality, the things that were ingrained in them from Babylon and things like that. We'll have the same thing when Christ returns. That's a lot of the teaching and learning and knowing how to do things right, knowing what is right, what is wrong. And so this is a good. This chapter alone basically tells you just trust in God. No matter what, just trust in Him, because it'll turn out. It will turn out exactly how it's supposed to. Okay, so chapter 6, verse 1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princesses, which should be over the whole kingdom. Okay, so when Darius first came in, they only had 7, so he added 127 more. He added to that group to help, run Babylon. So it was becoming more micromanaged. With Nebuchadnezzar, he basically ran the whole thing. Now it's getting political. Verse 2. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, so he was the first one, and they kept the leaders that were already in there too, the ones that they liked. So Daniel was in there as the first one, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. So it's just trying to make it as smooth as possible. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. And he had been a faithful servant who had, who was under Darius and who was faithful. And, he really liked Daniel. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom. So here we come again with these jealous, evil, wicked men who are in the providence, who Daniel is probably over. But they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault in him. So they're going to make something up now. Then said these men, plotting against him, we shall not find an occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. So even as we see today, a lot of the laws do not help us, but they help these criminals. They do these backdoor deals and all sorts of things, but even back then, there it was. So they're going to use the law against him. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever, buttering him up. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make firm. Daniel wasn't involved there. They left him totally out. To make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee. So, it's more like everybody's got to go to the king. For 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the lion's den. So they wrote all this up, and then it sounded good to the king. So he's like, yeah, it sounds good. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. So it's basically set in stone. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, in his own personal house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, praying like in the Solomon's time, remembering, that you pray towards Jerusalem. He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. So he's been doing this for a really long time. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. They climbed up the side of the house and looked in. And they had a lot of people there as witnesses. So, this is what these evil people do. They still do it to this day. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is one of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. So, they set him up. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, to help him out. How can he find a way to get him out? And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto him, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree or statute which the king established may be changed. So they saw that, Daniel isn't in the lion's den yet. Well, let's go back and remind him. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And, they were really good friends, and he loved Daniel, and it just broke his heart that he was doing this. But he also knew of Daniel's God and our God, and he had faith that Daniel would be okay. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, the opening, and the king sealed it with his own signet. So nobody can mess with it. Nobody can go in there and kill him and then whatever. He's like, no funny talk, because he knew these people. And with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. So he prayed and fasted all night long. He was very worried about Daniel, and, he couldn't sleep because of that. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste into the den of the lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and has shut the lions' mouth, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. So he was completely innocent, and God protects you in the same way. He's not going to let these evil, conniving little Kenites or whoever hurt you. It may look bad, but in the end. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. They hurried, come on out. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed, he trusted in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, their sons, and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them, and brake all their bones in pieces wherever they came at the bottom of the den. So, justice is served, We may not always see it, but it's served to the lions. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. So they're still in the Babylonian type of system, but it's the more political. You don't have just one king having say over everything. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. So you're talking all the way to, the millennium period and, the eternity, and he knew this. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So, these lions, they were intentionally starved, and so they'd be really hungry when someone was put in there. And it was really a miracle that they didn't touch him. But as you can see, these other people, these wicked people, were devoured. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So after Darius came Cyrus, and Cyrus was his son. So on the 7th chapter, it goes into Daniel's dreams and visions. So getting out of the historical part into the good stuff. I mean, that's good too, but just, pretty heavy duty stuff. Hi, Mind for Knowledge. Kim, Mind for Knowledge. Yeah. I don't know. I would go into chapter 2, but it's pretty, and I don't want to overload you guys, Just take one thing at a time. I hope everybody stays safe. Whatever happens, it's basically pretty tense around here. They're expecting riots, and I don't know. I don't know for how long that will go on, but it's basically been a riot for about 3 months now. So, we'll see what happens here. Oregon is very, it's very captured. So I would think, I know a lot of people who are voting for Trump. So if Oregon, ends up having Biden, I would be very shocked. But it's just, it isn't a fair race. So, but what will be, and I'm pretty confident that Trump will win. There's just, there's a lot of evil principalities and things that are running our government. And that stronghold will be broken for a time, and then comes in Satan and everything else. So, but yeah, and I don't know about Deb Hardin had emailed me, and her doctor had told her that, they're in the hospitals and stuff, they're expecting this flu thing, the CV, to be, worse than it was before. So I don't know how much that's going to be played up and kind of, what they were doing, saying everything was from the coronavirus when it was like a motorcycle accident, So I don't know, guys. It'll be interesting. Is anybody watching that? I think Pennsylvania has till 6 for mail-in vote Friday. Yeah, I know that, they have like a time for like international people who are, in other countries, for the military and things like that. I think they get like a month or something. Yeah, just pray. But no, whatever happens, we're gonna be okay. Loon, babe. It's just whatever happens, happens. Kind of feels like, um, there's just a lot of tension, and, I wouldn't want to be in a big city right now, that's for sure. Because it seems like, they've got this deep state really has their heels dug in to these big cities, you know. They get run by them, and if they have, let's see, if they have that extended time, how do they call the election? I think it's the percentage, you know, how many people are out there. If it's, you know, if their votes really matter, I'm sure, you know, it would, you know, but there's not a lot of them out there to make, oh, we have to wait for this. I guess that's their their theory on that. New York has already boarded up, I'm sure. I'm surprised that Oregon isn't boarded up. Um, Kate Brown came out and she's like, you know, we need to watch out for the white supremacists. And the funny thing is, it's been all BLM. It's been all them doing everything, and they call the white supremacists this prayer group that goes out. So, you know, what is right is wrong, and what is wrong is right. And it just makes me sick because it just seems like we can't do anything about it. I don't know. Maybe they are boarding up my area. I just haven't really been paying a lot of attention. Many as students claim they won't vote. Well, whatever happens, happens. I know I've been getting like 2 or 3 calls a day. Did you vote? Did you vote? Here, you can go over here and vote. Yeah, I voted. There's a lot at stake. But it'll be okay. Oh, we're in that time. Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to have a very bumpy time from here on out, you know. 2020 kind of, you know, kicked everything off with this oppression. We had it before, but this, it was like, boom, so evident. Hi, Stacy. Is this the start of the tribulation, or are we in great tribulation? No. The tribulation doesn't start until the Antichrist gets here and he claims to be God. So, but we are leading up to that. So, I don't know. Just got to keep going on. The time where wrong is right and right is wrong. Yeah. It just, I don't know. Once this all really begins, I mean, you guys will be like, gosh, I can't wait to get this over with. Because you just see the deception. I mean, it's bad. It is. I mean, you know, like living in certain states, I think um, Texas is one of those states where it could go either way. And like Houston, Dallas, it's all deep state in there now, taking over. Austin, Jacob's Trouble, yeah. I'm catching you. Hi, Aaron. Let's see, I'm catching you a little late off work, but it's nice to catch a live session again. I know, we miss you. If Trump wins, I think it will prolong Saint's agenda a bit. And if Biden wins, it will be here fast. Yeah. But I saw a justice. We haven't really seen much of a justice. We haven't seen any arrest or anything like that. So, you know, he could be like, okay, he set it all up. He's got all the proof and evidence. He's got the new Supreme Court woman in there. You know, it's a good thing. So, I don't know. It's perilous times, especially when you look at how close we are to a real war, you know. And but we haven't really seen a lot of the economic issues. They've been able to hold that up. That's what I saw, being held up, just by balance. And, however long it takes, it'll take. But, at least it gives us time to get more supplies, whatever you need to have, and to get through, No, it's hard to get medication and stuff like that. Trying to get even, a 3-month supply. It's like a lot of times it's just, you can only get your month's supply. But Jacob's trouble, yep. Jacob's trouble is coming. Hi, Alyssa and Long Babe Flo. How are you? How are you doing? I saw your post that you were in the hospital. Am I the only one that thinks Trump is not all he's cracked up? I think, anybody at this point, it's all been held up by the deep state anyway. They're really behind a lot of these things, so it's just hard getting through, hard to get through the darkness, the laws that they've made for themselves to protect themselves. And, it's just being able to get down that road and making things balanced again. But we're going to see, the dollar definitely being hyperinflated even before that. So, but when the war comes out, that's when you won't be able to get your supplies anymore, and you have to stay where you're at. I mean, travel, things like that will be nearly impossible, if not, not even being able to cross the borders into other states. Printable trumping positive. Let's see, printable trumping a positive and a negative to Yah's plan. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a positive and a negative. I mean, nobody's perfect. So, at this point, I think he's the best option. And we really don't have very many options. This two-party system is just, it was never intended to be like that. And these Democrats really think that, they should have equal power, but it's not left and right. And it should never have been like that. But it's been made like that, and it really, now we need to completely dissolve that and start over. I don't think that'll ever happen. A 2 years plan. A+, yeah. I mean, you're not gonna get anybody perfect, and it's that judge I saw. The judge really is the one that turns things around. I think they want to crash the economy to the point where people will be begging for a monthly income distributed, and the more people acquiesce, the more control they have. Yeah. They want people under the government control. So the more that you can, be self-sufficient and things like that, the way better off you will be. Yeah. Let's flow. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. How long these riots will go along after the election, I don't know. But I have a feeling that Oregon is probably going to be the longest out there. Oregon and Washington. Ugh, it's such a crazy state. It really is. If you've ever wanted to, hey, what's a captured state? Look at Oregon. And it's so divided, and most of the Democrats are right in Portland, and the way that the voting goes is because there's more people in that compact little area. They get, their way most of the time. Oh my goodness, maybe you should check your ROM, see how much um, memory is being used. I thought so. I caught you, love, and I agree, but it's super alarming. People look at him as a savior. Yeah, and they're kind of worshiping him, and we know God is a jealous God. I think people just want to get their country back. And there's like been lots of examples of saviors in the Bible, like Joshua. God used also David. So, there's a lot of likes, but as far as Trump being a savior, I think he's doing the best he can, but he's fighting against something. The giants today aren't the physical big giants. It's these companies. It's these people behind the economy and everything. That is the giants. So, I thought I saw JD. There you are. Hi, JD. We will see. You know, we have lots and lots of examples, and history repeats itself. So, what example is this in the Bible? Well, the only thing that I can think of is we're going into captivity again. This is the time when Jeremiah was telling everybody, hey, we're going into captivity, and all the so-called priests and prophets in Jerusalem area and stuff said, no, no, there's just peace and safety. Same exact thing will happen to us again. This one world order, and we're just watching it being built up. It's just with each new thing coming up, the problems and things that stem from it, they'll make other laws and other proposals to fix the problem, which leads people more into like a concentration camp. You can't do this or that, or watching people. So I don't know. But as we get into, the really deep prophetic stuff, I mean, you'll be able to see, just the things that are going on now and how it's being built up and what to expect. And, through all this, we're protected. So, it's like, who do you trust? God, or do you trust the government? I think we could have 4 more years. It just all depends. How long can they hold up this economy? And it's going to be, held up until that earthquake. After that, you can't, but you're going to see more of the storms and natural disasters, floods, and things like that. It's just going to increase. And I don't know how you could ever jumpstart the economy. I mean, so many businesses have gone out of business because of this. But when it does happen, it's going to happen fast. So I just always keep watch, like starting in July to the end of August, as far as that timeline for the Pacific Northwest earthquake. And then I have like other signs, personal signs for me. And those things haven't happened yet. So it's like, yeah, we got some time. And I know you guys all just want to just get this over with. I do too. But we just got to be patient. But you will not even recognize America by the time all this is over. It's going to look so different. Our Constitution is gone. The rights will probably get worse, among other things, trying to crash and break up our nation. Yeah, if Trump wins. Yeah, it'll be the same old, except for you will see, some skirmishes and things like that, especially around spring. Yeah, I don't know. We just have to, keep together, as the latter day rain falls. You might be getting visions and dreams. My honey's going to call tomorrow and see if it's fades so fast. I call her and see if it's speed in our area that's the problem. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, if you're coming into a town, just know what you're coming into. July, August for the Pacific. Well, maybe. I mean, but watch for it in that time between July and August, like the 1st of July to the end of August. Just watch, because then, but like I said, there's a lot of other things that, like, for personal, where I could tell the timeline, it just hasn't happened yet. So I'm waiting on that too. But these things could really happen very fast, starting in around February. So if I get more signs, I'll be like, hey guys, really, really gotta, get ready because it's coming. I keep getting, wow, that's awesome, Flo. I mean, yeah. And they'll just get, they may be visions and dreams that are guiding you to get through. You could have one for the people, to help lead and guide them. I mean, it just all depends on how he wants to work. The Bible codes predicted that Trump will win and that he is compared with King Cyrus. Yeah, I guess in a way, but he was taking them kind of out, giving them a lot of freedom and things like that. We're going to be more oppressed. We're going into captivity, whereas before they were in captivity when he came from the beginning of Adam. So we're all going into this one world order. And that's just, think of that, get that mindset in your brain. And it's going to be a controlled society. I mean, they're going to know what you're doing. Do you know who they are in the day and age and human form? Let's see. Oh, those are the Kenites. Look at Soros. He is a very good example of what they look like and who they are by their fruits. He is just a classic example. Rothschilds, things like that. The big banksters. No, we can't escape it. We're all going into captivity, all, the entire world. So just knowing that. And then the important thing is just, when you're delivered up, just go up peacefully, you know. And after that, you're free. Christ will be returning very soon after you're delivered up. Yeah, right. Yeah, the Kenite seed. Yeah, they're they have big ears, and like their eyebrows are formed like right with the top of their ears, flat feet, um, the big noses, beady little eyes. No, you'll be found. I mean, for like right now, you can get out. If you find a place, you can get out, stay out there. It's not going to get too bad as far as the one world until Satan comes in. Then it's like control freak. But everybody will like it. That's another thing. Except for you'll be able to see through it. Sadly, things are not nearly as wicked as they will become. That's right. I mean, after that earthquake, nothing will ever, ever, ever be the same again. So enjoy this time now. Really, use this time to meet with people that you want to stay with during that time that you can ride this through with. And you won't be able to hide. What about all my children? Well, most of them, I know mine just don't listen. I mean, they'll have to, God will, whoever gets sucked up in it will get sucked up in it. If you're one of the 7,000, you won't. But, my family doesn't even listen to me. So it's like, there's nothing that you can do. Even, after telling them these things are going to happen, they half listen. So when it is time to leave, to go into the wilderness for a time, they won't want to leave. So you just have to know that when you're told to leave, if you are one of them that have to leave, just leave. But, in the millennium, you'll see them again. And they'll be looking at you like, wow, like a hero. Because you stood up against Satan. You knew the truth. They're going to be like, how did you know, and you weren't fooled. And I mean, you'll have a lot of different things that you'll be able to do too. I mean, you'll be helping as judging, you'll be teaching, you'll be in that inner circle, be able to go into the inner temple as we read in Ezekiel. There's just, so this earth dispensation as far as the flesh is dying. And we're coming up to the end. So it is exciting, but you have to put it all in perspective so that you don't feel bad for people, because only the very elect can see this. Some people may see half of it, they just don't have the whole truth. The very elect have enough information to where they can get through. Oh, Elf is here. Hi, Happy Elf. Yeah, so at this point, I mean, just get your crew together, tell as many people as you can, warn them. But there's coming a time when, it's just, you might have to leave people behind. And that's the hardest part. It's like knowing this disaster coming over with that celestial body and you having to get out of the way, and they didn't go with you. I mean, you're wondering, are they okay? What happened, but there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do. And I know for me, it's going to be a just a struggle. That's going to make me depressed. And I'm trying to like get a mindset about my own self going, okay, this is what you have to think to get through this. I mean, anything really worth it, anything that you're working towards is hard. It's never easy. So, when does the celestial body cross? It crosses after the Civil War revolution that's in America. It happens, and then you'll see that sow event where that dark ash comes down, but you can only see it with your spiritual eyes. So it happens close after that event, and then the celestial crossing. So it's like between the fifth and sixth trump type thing. Heralding in the Antichrist. If that's not a wake up call, you know. So we have, we still have a long way to go. We still have the Pacific Northwest earthquake. We still have the dollar drop. We still have the war. Um, and them building up the New World Order. Wait, what ash? I'm new into that one. It's like I think it's when the pit is actually opened and the sin of the world is released, and it comes down from the time that, like, it really starts like the Pacific Northwest earthquake. That is like, boom, all right, things are about to happen. In the fall, you'll see the dollar start, like everybody finds out that the dollar is dead and everything like that. That's when it starts falling, like at the time, like, because it comes in 4 stages, and as each stage goes up, there's more of that poured out. So by the time, that it hits, it's a blizzard type of thing where it's just so much deception and lies. And if you ask, I'm sure God will give it to you, because I can still see that ash come down, but you have to use your spiritual eyes. So even in this time, work on your spirit, I guess, because you're going to need that. You're going to need to exercise the powers and whatever God gives you, his gifts that he gives you. It sounds weird, but we are coming up against supernatural beings, supernatural events that has never, ever, ever happened before in the history of this earth, in this flesh. That's what's coming. I mean, we have the examples and things like that, but not to this extent. The time of Noah, when, there was that great flood that came. This time, it's not water, it's deception, but that celestial body crosses over. That is like the trumpet. It sounds kind of like it too, but I mean, people are going to lose their minds, because there's just so much coming. If you're used to, just sitting around and watching television or just going to work and back, and you haven't opened up the Bible or any kind of knowledge, those are the first people who, well, like, completely lose it. So, and these are usually the people that are in the cities and things like that. So it's good to just kind of get out of the way before that happens. But you'll know, because when that earthquake hits, it's like, fine, we got to go to where we're going and just ride it out. And that's, it's just, that's really how easy it is. But many people won't be able to understand the signs, and they're stuck. It is going to make a huge sound. It's deafening. Well, these evil spirits, the everything else that will be released from the pit opening up, I mean, it's coming out to make war against Christ and the saints coming back. So they're going to throw everything that they have and their technology and whatever else they have. It's going to be at least a 10, and it's going to last at least 5 minutes long, if not 10. And everybody will feel it to some extent. It's just like one big boom. But then after that, it's just continual shaking for like 5 or 10 minutes. The earth just shakes. Yeah, being in Washington and Oregon, I mean, we're the ones who are really going to feel it, when that goes off. But if you're not, close to the ocean or something like that, you'll be okay. Richter 10, I've heard prophets, they say they saw Jesus pick up the earth and shake us to the right and to the, this keeps fading. Let's see. It's to the right and shake us back to the left and then slam us back down. Is that the earthquake we're talking about? No, I think that's when the celestial body crosses over. Because the earth will be tilted 1, 2, 3, 4. And then as it's going out towards Canada, it's going to tip it almost upside down. And that's where it will stay until Christ returns. Then when he comes back, he's going to tip it upside down, bring it back up. He's going to let go. It's like a reset. We're entering into a new dimension. And then the earth will just fall back to where it was. It won't be set up straight up and down like it was in the first earth age, because we're still in the time of testing. When it comes to being fully renewed and rejuvenated and put back, that's after the great white throne judgment, and everything is placed back to where it originally was. So we have that tilt. And who knows, maybe, like with Noah's flood at that time, the cataclysm, maybe, that thing came over at that time and he broke the firmament and, it just stayed tilted. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see lots of earthquakes. We'll see the Pacific Northwest earthquake. We'll see the one associated with that celestial crossing, which lasts about a half hour long, and it's violent. It's like boom, boom. I mean, and rolling. and just you'll see crevices opening up and things like that. So yeah, it's not going to be good. Planet X or Nibiru, I just call it the celestial body. Um, Everybody has their idea of what it is. I just know what I saw, so I just, you know, I don't want to say like Nibiru because there's a lot of connotations and things like that that people have said about it. So, I just bring it down to the basics. It's a celestial crossing. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But, just get your people set, ready, you know. The only thing you can do is just drop seeds, just this is coming, but you can't like sound like you're crazy. I don't know. You know how it is, when people just are so far away from their own spirituality that, it's kind of like a brick wall there. But just pray about it. The people that are meant to be with you will be with you. Hi, Eagle. I'm glad you got here. We got basically everyone here. Pray for Deb Harden because she's having some big health issues, and she really needs our prayer. Eagles is here, is in the house. And Flora, I hope you come in more because you're awesome. Well, you guys all are. And it's great to see everybody. You know, it is, you know, by the end of all this, and we're sitting at that white table with the white tablecloth and a setting just for us, we're going to be talking about this going, oh my gosh, this is what we had to do, or that, or this. And then our enemies will be coming up going, ooh, 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 all jealous. And we'll be like, Christ will be walking by going, yeah, this is my girl. This is my friend. And he's a very, very nice person. I mean, I didn't want him to leave. I was so sad. Like, take me with you. I'd be saying, pass the corn cob and butter. That's right. T-bone steak. I love T-bone steak. Mashed potatoes and gravy. Stand some of the Zadok that want to belittle us. Not everybody that has studied and stuff obviously is not a Zadok. I mean, this is what Christ said to me. I said, how come these people won't take this message? It's coming from you. It's not me. And he said, my people die from lack of knowledge. They are destroyed because of it. And they are no priest unto me. So, they may think they are, but a Zadok is very compassionate, and they don't belittle people. They're very helpful, and they're knowledgeable, and they're humble. So anybody, going around, oh, I'm better than you, well, they aren't one. Not at all. I know for a fact I am one of them. So I can, like, see, like the types of people that are in that group that I saw. And it isn't anybody who, brags and stuff. Yeah. So, just keep going on. I know I've been like slandered against some of them and things like that, but it really doesn't matter. God takes care of them. And He really does. So, okay, guys, tomorrow. Study chapter 7 because it's a big one. And we're going to go over that. And just get ready because these are very intense. And the knowledge that you take with this in these studies is really going to hold you over. We'll compare with Revelation to Daniel's visions, and you'll just get a very clean, concise idea of what is coming. And then you'll be able to visualize it and you'll be set. Yep. So, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Have Daniel, in the book of Daniel. We just went over the first 6, which are historical. Chapters 7 to 12 are all prophetic. Yeah, the very elect. There's 144,000, which are the teachers, preachers from the 5 churches that didn't make it. And the 7,000 are the very elect in Romans 11. I have set aside for myself 7,000 who will not bend a knee to Baal, which is another name for Satan. Yeah, so if you can make it, Flo, come on. Come on, because we like you in our group. All right, guys. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.